Modern Warfare 2 is upcoming this fall, and from a true gameplay sense of things, we've seen next to nothing, at least for the multiplayer side of things. I mean, we've had a ton of leaks in regards to weapons, maps, field upgrades, streaks, perks, and all of that, but we haven't seen any actual gameplay yet. There's no hands-on demo or anything like that. Infinity Ward debuted some gameplay from the campaign at Summer Games Fest, but beyond that, nothing official has been revealed, and very few people have actually had their hands-on with the game outside of those people creating it. A handful of draft picks for the NFL this year, a handful of pros in the CDL, and a handful of content creators and streamers who went out to Infinity Ward before the reveal of Modern Warfare 2 have basically been the only ones here to experience the game, though all under heavy NDA. That said, some details slipped through the cracks about the movement systems recently that we'll be seeing in this year's upcoming game. So as we go along, drop your thoughts down below. Do you hope to see these changes stay in Modern Warfare 2? Do you want them to be reverted back in some capacity where it's baseline with Modern Warfare 2019 again? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, do be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with all things Modern Warfare 2 and anything COD related. And of course, check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage for the best blue light glasses on the market, but more on them in just a bit. For now, let's talk about these changes to the movement systems that we'll be seeing in Modern Warfare 2. So with Modern Warfare 2019 and Warzone, it kind of set a new standard for movement in-game. When the game first launched, slide canceling wasn't really a thing. That was a mechanic that a few pros discovered, and then it slowly bled into the general community to where it is now, almost 3 years later, as a commonplace in every single match you'll find across the standard MP experience and Warzone. And that's one of the big things that was a subject of discussion as of recently, because as it turns out, that mechanic that may be so second nature to so many may not be carrying over exactly how we think it will be in the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 experiences. Earlier, YouTuber and streamer Swag, who was a part of that aforementioned early gameplay reveal with a gameplay demo available, he had mentioned in a spectating video that he's played it and some things are different than what we may expect. He stated, "I've played Modern Warfare 2, it played just like how Modern Warfare 2019 played, the feel of it." Then following up by stating, "You've got the dolphin dive now and you have that aspect of the game." And when asked about slide canceling, he goes, "It's not like how you think it is." And for a guy like Swag who plays heavy into movement of his own game, if it's me, I'm checking that thing first thing because it's muscle memory. The first thing I do when I get into a game is I'm gonna try and sprint up the map and slide cancel. So if you were to notice that immediately, you'll know if it's the same or not. So for me, the focus of this in terms of the slide cancel, that was a huge question mark coming out of the reveals. Is it something that's going to be returning? Is it going to be changed? And it looks like now we're going to see some sort of change to it. And listen, it's very logical for a game of the success levels of Modern Warfare 2019 to not want to deviate too much from the formula set in place, but to have everything be exactly one-to-one, that also oppositely wouldn't make a ton of sense as well, because then at that point it's just a major expansion for that game. This is supposed to be a new experience, the start of COD 2.0 as they've branded it officially. So Modern Warfare 2019 wasn't a perfect game by any means, and while I'm sure we could all chip in as to what we'd want to see changed for a follow-up project, ultimately we'll see some things changes, whether good or bad, and in areas that we either care about or don't care about. It's all subjective, but ultimately down to the developer vision. One thing that I do know in terms of the slide canceling topic was that despite it being such a mainstay in Modern Warfare 2019 and the Warzone experiences, devs weren't a huge fan of slide canceling. It nullifies the delay built into the game that was intended for the tac sprint reset period. It breaks cameras for players that are viewing a player slide canceling across a doorway or something like that, and the entire basis of it is just a literal broken mechanic. Not complaining about it, but it is objectively a broken mechanic. It was not intended for the gameplay loop. That's why we see in Vanguard, as we'll mention in a sort of different fashion in just a second, why it kept a lot of the same mechanics as Modern Warfare 2019, being built off the same engine, but the slide cancel was altered so that it's not one-to-one with Modern Warfare 2019. Now, I'm not saying slide canceling is good or bad. Hell, I mean, I use it all the time, but from a purely developmental intention side of things, it's not what the devs wanted and strove for. There's even been chats with Warzone devs on, what do you think about the slide cancel? Do you consider it a good or bad thing? Would it be problematic if it wasn't there? And those types of discussions. So the idea that they would change it, if not entirely remove it, isn't entirely foreign or isn't entirely asinine to bring to the table. So that said, is it removed entirely? Well, based off of the limited information that slipped up here with this, it doesn't seem like it, but it seems like it could have changed. So how would it have changed? While there's no details officially, if we take a look at Vanguard, again, that slide cancel isn't exactly the same as Modern Warfare 2019, though it's initiated in very similar capacities. The game is built off a modified version of the engine for Modern Warfare 2019, so mechanically speaking, there are absolutely similarities, but it does not work exactly the same. It doesn't reset immediately as it does in Modern Warfare 2019, Again, it feels maybe a little bit more sluggish if you were to just get used to Modern Warfare 2019 and then jump over to Vanguard, but how I kind of imagine it is that if it does return in some capacity, it does perhaps the same, but where that tac sprint delay isn't reset, allowing you to chain together all that movement and be zooming across the map. It'd still be viable, just not as objectively broken compared to the initial design intent as it is currently. But that's all speculation, but it seems like the slide cancel will be adjusted in some major way here going forward. Now, that said, that's not the only other movement mechanics that we know of, because while Modern Warfare 2 looks to keep that sort of lightning in a bottle that it had from Modern Warfare 2019, there are other mechanics that are going to make this a little bit more in-depth, offer new ways to play the game. As Swag mentioned, the Dolphin Dive is one of them. That's already officially confirmed to us, and I'm really curious to see how that'll play out with a sort of hybrid system between sliding and dolphin diving. I really think that in terms of gameplay loop, could be really beneficial to the player, but it comes down to how we'll feel and how we'll get acclimated to it in a gameplay sense. We also learned, of course, about a couple of different things: wall climbing, ledge hanging, that's stuff that's going to be coming back, and honestly, maybe an interesting way to traverse different maps. It might be something that, if there is that ladder that's rumored to be a sort of field upgrade or equipment piece, it'd be cool to be able to sort of make your own approaches into buildings where players may be camping, where they could be watching a stairway or a ladder going up, but you could end up going in through a window that they didn't think they'd have to cover, whether by just scaling some of those walls or by using, say, a ladder field upgrade or equipment. Swimming, of course, is also going to be a big part here of this. We've seen that from leaked map images. We've seen that from gameplay demos and things like that have been previewed to some like myself and other press, where we got to see a couple of more campaign missions than what was showcased at Summer Games Fest. So there's lots of movement adjustments, adding more to the gameplay loop and experiences, as well as seemingly adjusting existing factors. Again, that's one of the big things. You don't want to make a game exactly one-to-one with what was previously released, but instead you want to go a little bit bigger. You want to make it something that is expanding upon that experience, if not changing it entirely. So right now, I think it's too early to write anything off as good or bad, especially in that slide canceling side of things. And honestly, as always, I just recommend, until you get your hands on, feel for yourself, you play the game yourself, I don't think it's really worth it to say something is good or bad. But for now, it's an interesting baseline to consider of where we may be going, kind of setting our expectations up for what we may be able to see with the gameplay experience. If we go in with no information at all and we try to slide cancel as is, I'm sure that a lot of people will be disappointed. But if we get that out of the way now, you might enjoy the playable demo of the beta or something like that a little more if you know going in ahead of time. Maybe that's just me, but anyways, that's where we're at here at this. Wanted to fill you guys in with some new information in regards to some of those movement systems and what recently came out about one of the biggest ones. But before we go, a reminder, check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage. I've been talking about them for a year and a half now at this point, and I still swear by them. If you're working on a PC, looking at a screen of any kind for prolonged periods of time a day, you may already know the effects of blue light. And I've had trouble combating it for years. This whole YouTube creator life, it's not as glamorous as you may think. I'm actually just sitting at my desk for 6 to 8 to 10 hours a day, noting, editing, playing the game to get gameplay footage of, all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot more boring than you think, but over the years, blue light has absolutely worn on me. I've felt the effects in my daily sleeping patterns, some eye fatigue, and all that comes along with it. So if you guys are looking for the best ways to combat that, to invest in your long-term vision health, Gamer Advantage is absolutely the best product on the market. Absolutely can say it is the advantage of espresso here. So if you guys want to check out their website, learn about the science a little bit more, or just pick up something for yourself, head on over to the link in the description below, and if you pick something up, use code espresso for 10% off your order. But that's what we're gonna call it. So I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 2 and anything upcoming in relation to Call of Duty. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.